In the Philippines, some family names are more than just names. They're empires. Sai, Zobel de Ayala, Razon. These are names that resonate with power, wealth, and history. We know the titans who built these fortunes, the patriarchs who, through grit and vision, turned single shoe stores into sprawling malls that define city skylines, and small port operations into global powerhouses that connect the archipelago to the world. Their stories are the stuff of legend, ambitious tales of risk and reward that are now woven into the very fabric of the nation's economy. But what happens after the legend is written? What about the generation born into it all? The young heirs and heiresses, all under the age of 18, who inherited not just billions of pesos, but the immense, often crushing weight of a dynasty. Their lives are a paradox, a constant negotiation between a public legacy and a private existence. Today, we're pulling back the gilded curtain on the 10 richest old money kids in the Philippines and the complex, high-stakes lives they lead. This isn't just a simple story about designer clothes, European holidays, and lavish parties, though there is certainly plenty of that. This is a story about pressure, about overwhelming expectation, and the quiet, often unseen struggle to find one's own identity within the long shadow of the celebrated name. These are the young men and women who have been groomed from birth, not just to live a life of comfort, but one day to take the helm of multi-generational empires. Their paths are already set towards the hallowed halls of the world's most prestigious universities, Harvard, Wharton, INSEAD. But their education has a purpose that goes far beyond academics. It's about building networks, understanding global markets, and learning the language of power. They're being prepared to one day sit on corporate boards not as a ceremonial birthright, but as active leaders, making decisions that will shape entire industries, decisions that will directly or indirectly affect every single Filipino. From the ubiquitous retail kingdom of the Sai family, which has redefined the Filipino weekend, to the nearly 200-year-old legacy of the Zobel de Ayalas, a family that has literally built the nation's financial capital. These heirs are growing up in a world their parents and grandparents built. But this is a world they must one day defend against disruption, a world they must expand to stay relevant, and ultimately a world they must redefine for a new era. They are at once the young custodians of history and the reluctant architects of the future. So how do they truly handle the pressure? What is it like to know that your future business decisions will be scrutinized and compared to the genius of your predecessors? What truly drives them beyond the simple promise of more wealth? Join us as we count down the 10 wealthiest and most influential heirs of the Philippines' oldest and richest families. Number 10. The Tantoco heirs. Kicking off our list at number 10 are the heirs to a name that is utterly synonymous with luxury, elegance, and high fashion in the Philippines, the Tantoco family. For over 70 years, the name Rustins has been more than a department store. It has been the country's undisputed premier destination for the finer things in life. This was an empire founded by the visionary Gliceria Rustia Tantoco and her husband, Ambassador Bienvenido Tantoco Sr. In a post-war Philippines, they embarked on a mission. They didn't just sell clothes, jewelry, and perfume, they curated a world of sophistication, and in doing so, taught generations of Filipinos the very meaning of fine taste. Now, the monumental task of steering this storied legacy into the 21st century will fall to the third generation. Following the passing of their predecessor, the respected Neri Tantoco, the future leadership roles are being prepared for cousins who represent two sides of the same dynastic coin, Bienvenido Dani Tantoco III and Anton Huang. As teenagers, Dani is being groomed as the future steward of the brand's core values, the guardian of the flame his grandparents first lit. He is the one being taught how to preserve the soul of Rustins. But he is no mere traditionalist. He is being encouraged to study groundbreaking concepts like Shopwise, the country's first hypermarket, a past family innovation that demonstrated an ability to innovate beyond their luxury niche. On the other hand, there is Anton Huang, being mentored as the future dealmaker and engine of growth. Schooled from a young age by his grandmother, the family matriarch, Glyceria Rustia Tentoko, Anton grew up immersed in the business of luxury retail. He is now learning to manage a breathtaking portfolio of over 100 of the world's most coveted international brands. His biggest and most critical lesson has been observing the push to drag the traditional luxury experience into the digital age with the e-commerce platform Trunk. This wasn't just a project, it was a necessary evolution he must one day lead. The pressure on the young Donnie and Anton is immense. They must learn how to make a 70-year-old brand feel fresh and desirable to a new digital native generation. Their challenge will be to ensure that the Tentoko name remains the final word in Philippine luxury. Number 9. The Po heirs. At number 9, we turn our attention to a family whose products are a staple in nearly every Filipino kitchen, the Po family. The patriarch, the late Ricardo Po Sr., was the architect of Century Pacific Food. He built his empire from the ground up, creating household names like the iconic Century Tuna. His was a story of pure entrepreneurial grit, and that powerful legacy now rests on the shoulders of his 4 young sons, Christopher, Theodoro, Ricardo Jr., and Leonardo. Upon inheriting their father's empire, the family established a system meticulously based on merit, ensuring that the most capable hands would one day steer the ship. Through this process, all eyes are on the eldest son, Christopher "Chris" Po, to eventually take the helm as executive chairman. He is being molded into the quintessential modern heir, brilliant, disciplined, and globally educated. His academic path is already set. He is expected to graduate at the top of his class from the University of Pennsylvania, earning degrees from both the prestigious Wharton School and the College of Engineering. An MBA from Harvard Business School is planned to follow. This family story makes one thing clear: they will not just rely on their famous name. Under the guidance of their mentors, the young brothers are learning how Century Pacific is being diversified and expanded with aggressive ambition. They study the public listing of the Shakey's pizza chain and are educated on global trends with the launch of Unmeat, the Philippines' first major vegan meat alternative. This venture into sustainable foods is a lesson in future-proofing the family empire they will one day command. The family's innovative drive and meritocratic system firmly earned their young heirs a spot on our list.
Number 8. The Lucio Tan heirs. At number 8, we examine the succession story of one of the most famous and powerful taipans in the Philippines, the heirs of Lucio Tan. His is a sprawling empire under the LT Group, including Philippine Airlines, Asia Brewery, Fortune Tobacco, and the Philippine National Bank. For years, the question of succession was a subject of intense speculation. The patriarch, Lucio Tan Sr., was known for a tough, old-school grooming process. He famously sent his sons to Singapore and China for a Spartan, Mandarin-focused education, an experience designed to instill discipline and heritage. For a long time, the designated successor appeared to be his eldest son, Lucio Bong Tan Jr. However, his tragic and untimely passing in 2019 threw the entire succession plan into disarray. Another prominent heir, Michael Tan, had served for years guiding the group's operations. In a recent and significant shift, however, the mantle of leadership has unexpectedly jumped a generation. Lucio Hun Tan III, the teenage son of the late Bong Tan Jr., is now the designated heir apparent for the entire LT Group. This places a grandson in line for one of the most powerful corporate seats in the country. The pressure on the young Lucio Tan III is therefore immense. He inherits not just a future title, but a complex, traditional empire. His challenge will be twofold. He must prepare to manage legacy businesses, like the tobacco industry, while simultaneously learning to steer a national airline through a volatile market. His ultimate test will be to prove that the third generation has the vision to one day lead the vast empire his grandfather built. Number 7. The Abotis heirs. Number 7 brings us to the heirs of the Abotis family, a dynasty whose origins trace back over a century. From those beginnings, it has evolved into one of the country's largest conglomerates, Aboitiz Equity Ventures, with interests in power, banking, food, and land. But what truly sets the Aboitiz clan apart is their legendary focus on professionalization and a highly structured approach to succession. In this family, being an heir is not an automatic ticket to the corner office. It is a privilege that must be earned through a rigorous process of higher education, proven merit, and, crucially, external work experience. You have to prove your worth in the outside world before you can lead within the family's walls. A leading example of this new generation is the young Ana Maria Aboitiz Delgado. Her future rise is a textbook case of the Aboitiz way. Her path is set, an MBA from New York University's Stern School of Business, after which she will be expected to begin her career not at Aboitiz companies, but at a global financial giant like Citibank in New York. This period of external validation is a critical part of their grooming process. She is being prepared to one day lead their banking arm, Union Bank, and continue its legacy of aggressive and successful digital transformation. The pressure on young heirs like Ana Maria Aboitiz Delgado is therefore unique. It's not just about future profits, it's about upholding a meticulous system of governance that has been their bedrock for over a century. Their challenge is to prepare to lead a massive conglomerate through the modern world, from digital disruption in banking to the urgent transition to green energy, all while ensuring the Aboitiz name remains a benchmark for professional excellence. Number 6. The K. Azcona family. At number 6, we have the heirs to a name that stands as a pillar of Philippine healthcare, the K. Azcona family. Their empire is Mercury Drug, the country's largest drugstore chain. The story began in 1945 when founder Mariano K. started selling medicine from a simple wooden pushcart to make quality medicine accessible to all. Today, that legacy of service is being passed on. Following the passing of his daughter, the longtime president, Vivian K. Azcona, the family's immense wealth and leadership responsibilities have transitioned. Her young son, Stephen Azcona, is now being prepared to head the company and one day assume the dual roles of chairman and president. The family is known for being intensely private, letting their vast network of over 1,000 drugstores speak for themselves. Their quiet work has generated immense value, vaulting them into the top 10 richest in the Philippines. Stephen's challenge will be one of careful stewardship and thoughtful modernization. He is being groomed to operate in a sector where trust is the most valuable currency. He must learn to maintain the accessibility and reliability Mercury Drug was built on, while simultaneously preparing to navigate the future of retail pharmacy, telemedicine, and digital healthcare for a nation of over 100 million people. His is the quiet burden of preparing to safeguard the health of a nation. Number 5. The Consanji siblings. Entering our top 5 are the young heirs of the late David Consanji, the founder of DMCI Holdings and a titan of Philippine construction. His name is etched into the nation's landscape through countless buildings, roads, and bridges. The siblings Isidro, Josefa, Jorge, Luz, Maria Cristina, and Maria Edwina collectively inherited an empire built on concrete and steel. Under adult leadership, it has expanded into mining, power, and real estate. The eldest son, Isidro Consanji, is being prepared to one day serve as chairman and president. Unlike some of the more public-facing families, the Consanjis are known for keeping a low profile. Young Isidro is being taught that he will eventually have to lead the group's critical diversification strategy, learning the importance of major acquisitions like the family's recent purchase of Cemex's cement business. The pressure on the Consanji children is the pressure of building, literally and figuratively. They must learn to one day manage a complex portfolio of heavy industries, which are subject to the cyclical nature of construction and volatile commodity prices. Their collective challenge is to prepare to ensure their father's legacy, one that formed a bedrock of the modern Philippine economy, continues to build the nation's future. Number 4. The Gokongwei siblings. At number 4 are the young heirs of one of the most admired entrepreneurs in Philippine history, John Gakongwei Jr. He built a colossal business empire from practically nothing. His 6 children, Lance, Robina, Lisa, Faith, Hope, and Marcia, are now being groomed to collectively oversee JC Summit Holdings, a conglomerate with interests in airlines with Cebu Pacific, retail with Robinson Malls, and food with Universal Robina Corporation. Lance Gakongwei, a brilliant student on a path to the University of Pennsylvania, is being prepared to serve as the CEO of the parent company, JC Summit. He is the designated future strategist. His older sister, Robina, is being groomed for the retail side as the future chairman of Robinson Retail. The siblings are inheriting not just their father's businesses, but also his famously frugal and competitive spirit. Lance has famously recounted how his father made him start his training as a child by selling Jack and Jill snacks to supermarkets, forcing him to learn the business from the ground up. Today, the siblings are tasked with the immense challenge of learning how to one day professionalize and grow this complex portfolio. They're being educated on difficult strategies, like the exit from the family's legacy petrochemicals business, while learning about pouring resources into expanding their airline and retail footprints. Their core challenge will be to maintain cohesion and a singular vision across dozens of different industries, all while living up to the monumental legacy of their father.
Number 3. The Zobel de Ayala heirs. At number 3, we have the heirs of a family whose name is the very definition of old money in the Philippines, the Zobel de Ayala clan. For nearly 200 years, since 1834, this family has been at the center of Philippine business. They transformed a humble distillery into the Ayala Corporation, the country's oldest conglomerate. Being an heir in this family means being born into a legacy of unprecedented scale. The pressure is not just to generate profit, but to uphold a 190-year-old reputation. The 8th generation of the family, all still in their youth, is now stepping into the spotlight, led by the children of the current chairman, Jaime Augusto Zobel de Ayala. His eldest daughter, Mariana Zobel de Ayala, is a rising star being groomed for leadership. A future Harvard graduate with an MBA from INSEAD already planned, her career will be a carefully curated journey through the family empire. She is being mentored for senior roles at their banking arm, BPI, and is being prepared to one day head leasing and hospitality for their real estate giant, Ayala Land. Her brother, Jaime Alfonso Zobel de Ayala, also destined for Harvard, is being groomed to lead the group's strategic push into the future of mobility with a focus on electric vehicles. This represents a key area for future growth. The pressure on the young Zobel de Ayala heirs is simply monumental. They are the designated custodians of a nearly bicentennial legacy. Their defining challenge is to prove that the 8th generation can push the oldest company in the Philippines to the forefront of new and disruptive industries, ensuring the Zobel de Ayala name remains the ultimate symbol of enduring power. Number 2. Enrique Razon Jr. Breaking into our top 2 is a young man who represents a potent blend of old money inheritance and new money ambition. Enrique Razon Jr. As a teenager, he is the heir to International Container Terminal Services, or ICTSI, a port management company founded by his father. But even at his young age, Razon is not content with the idea of simply maintaining the family business. He is already showing extraordinary vision and an aggressive style, studying how to expand the company into one of the largest port operators in the world. But his towering ambition doesn't stop at shipping. He is already championing a massive, high-stakes bet on an entirely different industry, gaming and integrated resorts. He has a bold vision to one day build an opulent destination like Solaire Resort and Casino, creating a new luxury landmark in Manila. This audacious mindset to enter a completely new sector shows his immense potential. The family fortune he is set to inherit has already surged to a staggering $11.5 billion. Even as a minor, Razon is known for his aggressive and visionary thinking, seeing opportunities where others see risk. He is already mapping out further diversification into critical sectors like water utilities and renewable energy. His story is a powerful example of an heir who refuses to be a mere caretaker. The pressure for the young Rezan is to prepare for managing a vast, global empire and ensuring that his big bets one day drive unprecedented growth. His challenge is to build a legacy that could be even bigger than the one he inherits. Number 1. The C heirs. And finally, at the number 1 spot are the young heirs to the single largest fortune in the Philippines, the C siblings. Their father, the late Henry C. Sr., is a national legend. His is the ultimate rags to riches story, a man who started with a small shoe store called Shoe Mart and built it into the SM Group, a titanic empire that has fundamentally changed how Filipinos live, shop, and bank. The C siblings are set to inherit the top spot as the richest in the country, with a staggering combined net worth of $11.8 billion. This colossal empire will one day be managed by his 6 children, Teresa, Elizabeth, Henry Jr., Hans, Herbert, and Harley. Unlike many dynasties, the C's are being trained to operate as a council, with each member being groomed to oversee a critical part of the empire. Teresa, Tessie, Sikoson, the eldest teenager, is often seen as the future public face of the family. She is being prepared for the role of vice chairperson of SM Investments and chairperson of BDO, the country's largest bank. Henry, Big Boy, C. Jr., is being mentored to one day chair SM Prime Holdings, the crown jewel of their property ventures. The young heirs were not simply handed their future positions, they are being trained by a famously demanding and detail-oriented system established by their father. Despite their unimaginable wealth, the family is known for maintaining a low profile. Their future influence will be wielded not through pronouncements, but through sheer economic dominance. They are being educated on an ambitious plan to invest a staggering $9 billion over the next 5 years. The pressure on the C siblings is of immense scale. They must prepare to steer the largest ship in the Philippine economy through the threats of e-commerce and digital banking. But perhaps more critically, they must learn how to one day manage the complex transition of leadership to the 3rd generation, their own children, ensuring that the C dynasty remains at the absolute pinnacle of Philippine power.